Welcome to my lab. Today we have a pair of jeans which we'll be creating coasters out of them. But all you'll need is a sharp pair of scissors, your old pair of jeans, and a hot glue gun. If you don't have a hot glue gun, you can replace this with super glue, roughly $3.50 at Walmart, okay? So we're going to start by cutting the inseam of the jeans, which you can see this is this little stitching area. So you're going to start cutting, and if you have a sharp pair of scissors, it should go pretty quick, but you're going to go all the way up the pant leg to the crotch area and stop right there. So one of the tactics you could use for cutting your inseam of the jean would be pulling the jean tightly so that you have a sharp, crisp cut next to the inseam, which will make your final product look a little bit better. So you want to stay along the line and kind of pull the jeans toward you as cutting. And it should cut very smoothly if you have the sharp scissors or any scissors, but you work your way up all the way, and the end should kind of come out with something like this. And you can trim these excess pieces off. So once you have this trimmed, you'll have a little bit of excess jean material on the outside, and you want to get it as close to the seam as possible. So you're just going to trim it up a little bit to make it perfect, unless your cuts in the first place were already perfect. You kind of want it just to be a straight line and get all of the excess material off so it looks clean when it is in its finished product. So when you start spiraling up your hem or the inseam of the jean, you want to start with the small, like rougher, thicker edge of it, and that edge would be from the bottom of the jean. The reason you want to start doing that first is because if you ended the spiral with this, you wouldn't be able to attach this very clean and it would look very bulky. So you just want to roll it up. This is before you put the hot glue on. I'm just showing you what it's going to look like. So you just roll it up in a tight spiral because you don't want any edges or any gaps in the middle. And you'll roll. You keep doing this till you get to the end. But once you put the hot glue in, I'll show you how that'll be done. So obviously one inseam is not big enough for a coaster because a cup would be a lot bigger. So that's why you have the second one that you will attach later on. The glue, you're just gonna put a little bit on the spots that you're folding onto. You're gonna fold it on, and be careful when doing this, don't wanna burn your finger. Each fold you can put a little dabble of glue so it stays, and you just keep folding it. And it may take a while, but you're gonna repeat this process until you get to the end of your inseam when it's a tight spiral. You can stop. So your first inseam should be roughly the size of like one of the small soda cans, one of the baby soda cans. That's why you'll be attaching the second one. But when you attach the second one, you want to make sure you start with the smaller end rather than this bulky end, because it'll make things look a lot smoother like that. But you'll attach it, of course, when they run through, so you don't have a giant bump in the middle of your spiral. So now you just start. You're going to apply some glue on the edge that you're starting on. Make sure you start with the same dark colored side or light colored side that you went with in the beginning to make sure it looks even. You might want to hold it there a little bit just so it doesn't slip off. So you make sure you have this locked on and you won't lose a spot. But then you can continue, apply your glue and wrap it around. And you just want to repeat that process until you come to the end of your inseam. So once you're finished, you should be able to wrap it up and make sure you glue this end down. But you can see all these little pieces of glue. If you can peel these off, like, you can get a little bit of the excess off to make it look a lot cleaner. And while you're hot gluing, I know this is a little late, but make sure you have paper plate, magazine, newspaper, anything to stop the hot glue from getting on your counter or like a surface that you don't want your hot glue on. So your finished product should look something a little bit like this. Should be a good size, about take up the whole palm of your hand. Once you have it finished, you can set it down on your wood counter, any surface you don't want the circle cup stain on. So I'll just take my glass of water while I'm playing a card game with my family and put it right down on the table like a respectful young male. And that concludes my upcycling project of 2018 for Mrs. Pennington's class. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it greatly. If you ever need these, I'll hook you up. Just let me know. Simple little design. I can throw some colors in there, some paint splashes, make it look good. Thank you very much. Continue recycling.